In fact, it has already been posted. Okay, three already in: Ivan, Daniel, and Kelvin. I'll click start once everyone already joined. Yeah. All right, so I click start now. So I believe this is a wrong wrong username, right? So I'll remove this. Okay, let's wait for a while. The top three. Excellent. A very simple quiz, 5 questions. Okay, so let's look at the class accuracy, 71%, not bad. Toughest question. Question number 5. Question number 5. Let me see my last question. Okay. Yeah, I simply put fill in the blank. I want to see whether you all were paying attention or not. Okay, and then anyway, it's mentioned in our slide. The .NET framework understands only one language, but it seems that 5 of you all able to answer this. Excellent. Let me see, who are you? Uh, Question number 5. Oh, Wong can remember. Yes, it's CIL. Okay, Noel also remembers CIL. Russell also remember. Oh, Kelvin also remember. Oh, Farrell. Excellent. Okay, it's CIL. Let me see. If you forgot about this, you can go to chapter 1. Look at the two-step process. Okay, very unique for ASP.NET. Okay, let's see. Interesting facts. Average time taken per question was 10 seconds. Well, that's quite fast. All right, so excellent. So, oh, your redemption question, huh? Oh, that's cool. Yeah, because of the redemption question, if you got it wrong, then you can redo it, and then if you get uh that particular power ups, that will make your day lah. Oh, you get to redo. Yeah. Anyway, I hope this will help you to remember some things. Okay, yeah. Treat it as like a recap, but in a way that we gamify everything. Okay, so I will do the same thing next week. Okay. Oh, I have to mention this again. Your batch is the best batch at the moment. Everyone participates in the quizzes because everyone is punctual. All right, very good. Okay, let me just click exit. So I have a lot other quizzes, but I'll leave it for next week lah. All right, next week. Let's see, where's my, okay. So I've already prepared the quiz for our chapter 2. Okay, I will schedule it same thing 9 a.m. All right, let me, yeah, 9 a.m. Okay, let me see. And today I will post another class activity question. Remember that this is for my online blended learning where you can watch video, you can reply to your friends, and then you all can like add in or share another videos. I prefer a shorter video lah. Okay, if it's like 15 minutes video, I don't think the rest will go and watch the video link that you shared. Or perhaps you can share uh, um, any online article that is interesting. Okay, so I'll treat this as your blended learning. Let me see. I think let me see. Yeah. Farah, he shared something here. Okay, quite relevant also. Interpreted versus compiled programming languages. What's the difference? So, Farah, thank you for sharing. Okay, so this is not a material assignment in the Google Classroom, but it is a question. That's why I can select that student can reply to each other, and you can also edit your answer. All right. Let's see. All right. Let me show you our form B. Okay, our form B. I noticed that in week 3, okay, we are supposed to do a practical 3, event-driven programming. So week 2, which is this week, you will do practical 2. You need to finish off practical 2. Last week, when I did try out the practicals, there are 3 sets. Okay, the first 2 are like instructions. Okay, a demo, teach you how to do it. The first practical is on the server controls. The second practical is on the site design, means how to create a master page and then apply the master page in the rest of the web forms that you have created. Web forms, if you notice from last week, it is saved as .aspx file. Okay, and then there's a question, lab exercise. So this lab exercise is a question, and then it's similar to the first 2 practicals, the exercise. All right, so I expect you all to, after go through the steps, you should be able to submit your practical. Okay, and then since it's like a bit lengthy, and then I noticed that in week 3 you need to do practical 3 already. So what I did was tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow. I think I've already uploaded the first 2 exercises. Okay, and then the first 2 exercises, and I've recorded the demo videos. Okay, the demo videos for the first 2 practical exercises. At least I can guide you. I observed from last week, each students, you have your own pace. Some are in average speed, okay, a bit low average speed, above average speed, or very fast. Okay, so I've decided to record a demo video, right? And then for the submission, then this is the question that you need to submit. And then it's very similar to what we have here. So I'm giving you the briefing today because tomorrow you only have 2 hours. Okay. So already scheduled this for tomorrow. What else do I have? Okay, or remind me, I need to post this question later. Oh, let me go back to here. But then if you notice, this is from chapter 1. Luckily, we have already completed chapter 1. Last week, I've already seen this. That's why I wanted to do chapter 2 today. Okay, so that you all can do practical 2. And then week 3, there's a practical 3. So I wish to cover chapter 3, not in week 4, but in week 3. Okay, so I'm doing a slight of change. Okay, let's see. Any question before we start?
No.
Okay, so let me see. Uh, let's have a short toilet break, 2 minutes, and I'll start with the lecture, yeah? Okay, so I'll start the second recording. Second recording should be covering our lecture for chapter 2. Okay, I'll turn on the Q&A in case you have any question, and I can check on it at the end of the class. Okay, chapter 2 is all about the server controls and site design. We are going to, first of all, a little bit of theory. What are the three development models, okay, covered in ASP.NET? Okay, there are three altogether. And then the second part, okay, this is covered in our practical tomorrow, whereby you will use certain server controls to create your ASP.NET web forms. In fact, last week, when you all did your practical one, you have already used this. Okay, remember you used what was involved the text box, and there's one button. Again, then you'll also use label, but back then we didn't do any coding. All right, just to create a simple web form, right? And then the second practical for tomorrow, there's a step-by-step guide on how to create master page. Okay, in ASP.NET, when you create a master page, the file extension is .master. Okay, and then you will also learn how to create a sitemap for your website. And when we create a sitemap in ASP.NET, the file name will, by default, it will be web.sitemap. All right. So let's take a look at the three development models supported by ASP.NET. We have number one, web pages. This is the simplest model. Okay, number two, we have the MVC, Model View Controller. For those who have taken GUI web app, I'm sure you all still remember MVC, Model View Controller. And then look at number three, web forms. And then if you look here, we are using web forms, okay, for our web application design BAIT 2013. Right, this is covered in our syllabus. So for our practicals, we'll be using this type of development models. Anyway, we will still go through what are the three development models. Okay, I already mentioned just now the web pages. This is the simplest ASP.NET model. It's built around single web pages, very similar to PHP or the classic ASP. I've ever learned the classic ASP before. There's a special tag that we use to mark up certain element in our page. Okay, for ASP.NET, it is called as a razor. Okay, razor is in fact a markup syntax. Okay, what we also call a server-side scripting. You can either use VB or C sharp, right? And then this particular development model uh, has the templates and also helpers. Okay, helpers means it's already there. You just need to use it. Okay, especially when you're dealing with database, okay, and multimedia like video and so on. Right. Let's take a look at some example. For ASP.NET web page, we can have PHP, okay, PHP syntax, this question mark PHP, and then close it with question mark. For PHP, we use echo to show the output. Okay, for those who have taken web system technology, you have already learned PHP. And then SP example, this is the classic SP. We use the percent, okay, and then to show output response dot write. Okay, so you can see that every language is, they have their own syntax and also built-in function that you can call. Now, just now we mentioned about Razor, right? Okay, the server-side scripting. As you can see, this is an example of the markup syntax. Okay, the Razor markup syntax starts with the at symbol layers, right? Um, when we use this markup syntax, we can embed either VB or C sharp server-based code into our web pages. Okay. Now, the next slide shows another example, but then this one is that deals with a database. Okay, so the one in blue color, all right, those are the markup syntax, and then the rest are HTML, right? Let's take a look in overall what we can see is that we have this heading, okay, small bakery products. So basically it will display as the bakery products within a table. So this is the table header, product price. So there's a for each loop here, right, are open and closed. So meaning we will read this from the database. So let's look at what do we have up here. We are declaring two variables. The first variable is to store the database object, and the name of the database is small bakery, right? And then the second variable is to hold uh, the result, okay, the result of the query, select all from product, whereby it's from this database small bakery. So once we have this result set, Okay, so we will use a temporary variable in our for each. Okay, this is the database object just now, and then this is the query, select all from product. While there is row. Okay, so we will display the name and the price accordingly. Okay, so the name will be displayed in one cell and then the price will be displayed in another cell. All right, as an example for the first development model, okay, ASP.NET web pages, right? This is uh, if you notice, let me go back. It provides us with templates and help us, especially when we are dealing with a database. So we can see that example here. All right, it's quite convenient for us to do it, okay, in our web page. Now, the second development model supported by ASP.NET is MVC. But before we go to ASP.NET MVC, let's do a recap. What is a model view controller? Okay, basically, in one application, web application, we try to separate our codes. Okay, so those in model will represent our application core. The business logic layer, for instance, you have a list of database records like a car record. Most of the time we call it as a class. Okay, so model is something like your database, right? And then the view. Okay, I believe everyone knows this. We use it to display the data. The data here, we're talking about the database record, your model on the web page. So something like a user interface. And then the third component is the controller. So this controller will handle the input to the model. Okay, handle the input to the model, and then the model will save our input to the database. All right, so this is in a glance through what does MVC means. All right, we try to separate our processing, our data, and also our user interface into three different components. Now let's look at the second development model, which is the ASP.NET MVC. Okay, from the name itself, we already know that it is used for the MVC design. And then for ASP.NET MVC, we have Visual Web Developer. Visual Web Developer is a free version of Microsoft Visual Studio. I didn't go and check this one out. Okay, let's see. Let's go straight to the third development model, which is the one that we are covering in our syllabus, the ASP.NET Web Forms. Okay, this is the traditional ASP.NET, and then it is the oldest event-driven development model. We will learn the event-driven thing when next week, okay, in chapter 3, event-driven programming. And then what you can see from last week of practical one, we created a simple web form. Okay, it's a web page where we added our server controls, like last week we added the button and also the text box, right? And then for label, we didn't rename our label because normally when we want to do any processing, we need example, like we need to get the value entered into the text box. So we rename our text box with a unique ID. So because we need to use a value, and then in order for us to identify our button, like a submit button, and then when the user clicks submit, we want something to happen, and then assuming that we have another button, so we only want that particular codes to be executed if our submit button is run. This is where you need to actually rename your button using your unique ID, right? we use a special prefix, right? For button, it's btn, text box, it's txt. So we add our web pages with server control so we can come up with our server events and server code. So what we see last week, it's very clear that we have two different blocks of code. The first part is the HTML, okay, where this one is the UI, presentation of the web form on the browser. And then the second part is our code. Okay, we are using ASP.NET, so definitely it's ASP.NET code, where it holds a script containing the web forms processing logic. Okay, for this part we didn't do yet, but tomorrow you will do this a very simple script for your button, right? If we want to view this in another context, yeah, this one will show you very clearly. Say you have your web form, and then your web form is hello world view.aspx. Okay, so this aspx is in fact your presentation layer. Okay, let me go back. Presentation of the web form on the browser. Okay, so we can add in our HTML and we add our server controls, right? And then remember from last week practical, we view the code behind view, which is our CS file. All right, the C# file. You just need to click the expand icon and it will display the C# file for us. So this is the code behind, were also known as server code in C#. So this is where we will create our dynamic content. Remember from last week, our main purpose for our web application development is to develop what? Dynamic web pages, not static web pages. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Okay, so this one actually shows the syntax. Okay, I believe by doing the first practical, it is very clear. Okay, so we have our HTML, right? And then we will place our server controls inside our form, web form. Okay, so I guess we're done with the three types of development models supported by ASP.NET. So what do we have? We have a web page, we have MVC, and we have web form. Now, we've been talking about server controls. Okay, server controls. So I guess before we move on, we need to know what is some of the advantages of using server controls. Before that, let's look at some examples of server controls. I think this one will make it very clear already. Like you might be thinking, oh, apa itu server controls, right? You look at this HTML form tag. All right, so this is the equivalent our ASP.NET control, server control. So label, a list box, drop down list, okay. We can differentiate these two in ASP.NET. HTML form, we use the select, okay, the select tag. And then we have the ASP text box, ASP radio button, and ASP radio button list, ASP checkbox, ASP checkbox list, and also ASP button. Okay, for HTML form tag, we use the input element, and then in order for us to either get the radio button or the checkbox or the button, then we set the type attribute accordingly, whether it's a text, whether it's a radio, a checkbox, or submit. Let's see. I think I want to show you my practical one. Let's see. This is from last week practical. Okay, so we created a web form, right? This is what we do. Um, oops. Okay, we add item. Okay, new item, right? So here, this is a web form. Look at the server controls that we have added. The other day, I just used the design view and then drag and drop. Okay, so I have my text box. This is the submit button. Okay, let me click on the split view. Okay, so this is ASP label, and then I have ASP text box, ASP button. So this is the the presentation part. Okay, the presentation part, the user interface. So where's the code behind? If you expand this, you will see the C# file. Okay, so currently it's empty because we didn't do anything. If we want to do something, we want to add in to perform some dynamic uh, processing, then we will do it right here. The one that you will do tomorrow is that to give the to give the uh, sorry effect of something happen after the button is click, then you need to double click the control and type the coding, right? Let me see. Oh, did I close it already? Yeah, what happened? Okay, got lost somewhere. Okay, design. Okay, let me double click the text box and not text box, the button. So automatically it will open my C# file. So this is the button submit click. So you can see that there's a separation, correct? Our coding part, okay, the processing part and our interface. Okay, this is what I want to show to you all. Okay, let me go back to the slide just now. Okay, hopefully by showing you all the examples of the ASP.NET Server controls and the practical one that we have done last week, uh, go back to this one. Then it will be much more easier for you to understand the four benefits of the ASP.NET Server controls. So the first one is we can use the HTML elements as our object model. And then very clear from the practical exercise that you have done last week. This one, separate the design from the logic. Correct. The design is your web form, and then the logic would be the C#. And then let me go back to here. The second benefit, enable the view state. Enable the view state means we allow whatever value that the user entered into our server control to be retained, even after the page is refreshed or reload. So this is one of the benefit of ASP.NET. We can still have the value. Okay, so we call this as the view state. Okay, and then the fourth benefit is in terms of browser compatibility. If we use this ASP.NET Server controls, we can maintain browser compatibility. There's no need for us to worry about, oh, if I do this, then it might not be able to viewed by user who's using this. Okay, different, like for example, if you use a client-side scripting, not every script can be run accordingly. So let's go straight to the next slide. This is much more easier to see the comparison. Once you understand this comparison, it's easy for you to remember these four benefits of the ASP.NET Server controls. Okay, so we start with the example of code. Okay, For HTML, we use the input tag, all right, for our text box. A server control, we always start from ASP followed by colon text box. And then notice that we always see these two attributes for server control, which is the ID and also run at. Okay, ID and run at must have these two attributes. And then server control will be processed by the server, yes. HTML control by the web browser, the client side. And then why do we use this HTML? Okay, for basic control rendering. Okay, for a server control, okay, we cannot like we want to do more than basic rendering. There's so many complex controls like a calendar, validation controls. When we do this when we use the server control, it gives us more functionality because the server will do the processing. HTML control, it will be processed by our web browser. So what it can do is just a basic rendering, okay, and also the client side scripting. When we talk about client-side scripting, example of client-side scripting is JavaScript. I believe you all have learned JavaScript when you were first introduced to web design and development. Take note that not all browsers support JavaScript. That's why the limitation is regarding the browser compatibility, okay, for HTML control. However, for server controls, no such issue, okay, because it is processed by the server, not by the web browser. So it is not limited by the browser compatibility. So if we go back to here, enable you to maintain browser compatibility while still supporting advanced browser feature. Because if you remember from here, HTML control processed by our web browser, so we are limited, we are restricted to the browser compatibility. If that particular browser cannot process JavaScript, then it will not work. But then for a server control, since it's processed by the server, there's no need for us to worry about browser compatibility. Okay, and I guess that's it. Okay, by going back and forth, okay, these three slides, okay, and then showing you all the practical one exercise from last week. I believe you all more or less understand already what's ASP.NET Server Control. Okay, let me continue to the next slide. Okay, so I did mention this just now, the syntax. We must have these two attributes, run at and ID. But then we are using this, remember last week you all downloaded and installed the ASP.NET web application.NET framework, right? Okay, so we're using a framework. So when you do a drag and drop, you drag the text box and then drop it to your design view. It will already give you everything, including the default attributes ID and run at. Okay, there are some examples. I've already split this slide into several slides. I removed the animation so that you will have a very nice PDF with text not overlapping each other. Okay, assuming that we have this web form, I can see labels, I can see text boxes, okay, drop down list, there's radio buttons, there's a button checkbox, and then I think this is a multi-line, yeah. Okay, so the first one, okay, this is a label, so we use SP colon label. Remember the two attributes, ID and run at. These are the syntax, all right? And then we have the text box, all right? The text box, by right, we should use standardized casing lah. All right. Now that I look at this slide, I notice this is small letter and this is in uppercase. But anyhow, for a text box is ASP colon text box. And the next one, this is a drop-down list. Okay, drop-down list. And then if you want to add in items, or, items into your list, then you have SP colon list item. For you, there's no need for you to memorize all this. You can see for tomorrow exercise, it's very easy. You just need to select that particular control, and then there's a button for you to add in the list. Okay, let me give you a preview. One moment. Let's see. I'll use this. Let me play around a bit. What was it? Drop down list. This one, drop down list. Put it here. This is what I'm talking about. This arrow. Okay, so you can edit the items as simple as this. There's no need for you to like memorize all the coding. Remember when back then when you first learn web design and development, you need to memorize all the codes, right? Especially for your test and your final online assessment. But then since this is already another advanced course, we expect that you already know the basics in HTML. Okay, look how easy it is for you to add in the items into your list. Okay, like you just click add, key in the text, the value, and then it will be listed for you. As simple as this. Okay. Let me go back to the slide. So the next one is radio button. Okay, so this is ASP colon radio button list item. Same thing. Radio button list is similar to the drop down list. You just need to click the control, and then you can select the edit items, add in whatever options that you want, including the value. All right. And then this is also a text box, but if you want it to be multi-line, then you need to add in this attribute, text mode attribute, and then you set it to multi-line. That's it. And then here it will be displayed accordingly. And you can also control how many lines to display. Like in this case, rows equal to 2, so only 2 rows. Okay. And then this is my question. Okay. If you refer to the overall web form, what do you think? Should this be a checkbox or a checkbox list? Okay, so I will put this as your class activity question. This is a question. That's why here there's a ask. Let me see. What are the difference between, okay. What are the difference between checkbox and checkbox list? Okay, you may include a website link or YouTube video to accompany your answer. This is, I'm using a YouTube video in a question for collaborative learning. So you can reply to each other. You can still edit answer, meaning you look at your friends and say, oh yeah, oh betul, I think my answer is incorrect. So you change your answer. But then be very careful. Make sure you use your judgment properly. Okay, let me click as. How about I give you a due date? I give you a due date. Today is Wednesday. Tomorrow lah. Okay, tomorrow. Make sure you answer this. Click as. Blended learning. All right. Let's see. I go back to my slide. Okay, next. All right, a short question before we go for another break. This one, you can turn on your mic, or you can, if your mic is not functioning, you can type your answers in the chat box. Okay, let's do the first one. Remember from the learning objectives that I've shown you earlier on, student must know which ASP.NET Server control to use, the appropriate server controls to use according to the scenario given. Like you want to obtain the following data from a user, which ASP.NET Server controls should you use? Remember the ASP.NET Server controls. Let me show you the example. This one, ASP colon label, ASP colon list box, ASP colon drop down list, text box, radio button or radio button list, checkbox or checkbox list, or ASP colon button. So your answer ASP.NET Server control, yeah? Okay, the first one, name. What should we use? This is very straightforward. Okay, and then we have gender. Can we use text box for gender? No?
No. No.
uh, Perhaps there's a user out there would love to type in FEMALE, PEREMPUAN, LELAKI. But then we need to think about, well, what's the word already? Convenience, user friendliness. Okay, so what we use for name should be different from gender. How about address? Can we use the same server control for both name and address?
No.
Boleh lah. Boleh. Just that for the address, you need to add in the extra attribute. Okay? You agree? Make it to multi-line. Okay. And then let's skip straight to number 5, favorite TV channel. Oh, favorite TV channel. Okay, now I want to ask you, or you can also put your answer in the chat box. Which one should we use? Drop down list, checkbox, radio button. The scenario, it actually depends on the scenario. If you put it as a radio button, then can only select one, right? Checkbox, can we select more than one? I believe yes. How about drop-down list? Drop-down list? Perhaps if we enable the multi-selection, then it should be okay. But in this case, the most, let me see, appropriate would only be looking at one web server control. Okay, now how about date of birth? I'm very curious about this date of birth. What would you use? Okay, which server control do you use? I've seen the students on a web app. They want to make it easier. They just use the what you call that, separate text boxes for it. Some students use separate drop-down list for it. And then some students, they manage to find the calendar, okay, the calendar option for it. Okay, so if this can be a very good FOA question. So you can suggest, but then at the same time, you justify why you want to use a checkbox, ASP colon checkbox. Why you don't want to use SP, the radio button. Okay, why checkbox, not checkbox list? Why radio button, not radio button list? Or perhaps you can use a radio button list. Who knows? All right. So the next topic is about site design. Um, Now the time is 9:58. Let's go for a 10 minutes break. Shall we? Oh, deck picker. Yeah, I saw the answer. Yes, yes. Thank you for the suggestion. I'll be back. All right, I'm back. So how was it? Got a nice break. What did y'all do? Having your coffee? I went outside just now to my balcony. The weather is very nice today at my place. Bright and sunny, bright and sunny, not shiny. I guess I think I'm lacking in vitamin D. Only 30 seconds of sun. Yeah, it's too hot. It's too hot. Okay, where was I? Okay, I'll do another recording. So if you check your calendar for today, there will be several recordings. So I split my 2 hours lecture session into several short videos, easy for you to do your recap later. So far, before I start, anything to ask? Lynn, anything? How about Celine, Shak, Farah? Are you able to join? Is your internet stable already? Mm. How about Russell? Daniel? Oh, I didn't hear Daniel's voice since last week, even during the practical. Alvin, anything to ask? Wong? If no, then I'll just continue with the second part of the lecture, yeah? One moment, let me share you my screen and okay, I need to start the recording first. Find that this topic is quite interesting because in my previous courses for PHP, uh, this is not included. And what else? In the Java, GUI web app Java, this one is also not included. So basically, I'm very excited to learn this last week. Okay, site design. Okay, when we come to the site design, we will focus on these two things. Number one, we have a master page, and number two, the site map. Now, the reason why we go for this particular site design topic because we want to have a consistency, okay, a consistent look and feel site. Basically, it covers like you should have a common header for your entire website, a common menu for your entire website, as well as your page navigation, and then the footer as well. So when we have this consistent look and feel website, then it will give our user more confidence in browsing through, and then they are not lost, and then it's not cluttered. Everything is simple but organized. Okay, what's a master page? Okay, we use master page, whereby in this master page we will define the layout. We will have one layout. Say for example, we want to fix that our header is at the top, our footer is the bottom, right? And then say navigation. Um, I don't want it to be on the left hand side, but I want it to be immediately after my header. So you can do this. You can define the layout in your master page. Okay. And then when you define the layout, whatever that you put in your page, for example, very important those are very important elements like your header, your menu, your navigation will be presented on every page. Uh, um, very easy. It's very easy if you like compare this with your PowerPoint. Yeah, for PowerPoint, you do have this master slide, right? Okay, where you can add in whether you want to have the slide number, the slide footer to be displayed on every page, and then you can even customize a common, say, animation for all your pages. Okay, your not pages, the slides. Okay, so uh, the same thing goes here. Now, in ASP.NET, okay, in ASP.NET, I did mention this earlier. When we create a master page, it will be saved as .master. Okay, right? And then if you want to like make sure uh, every page in your website is based on your master page, then assuming that you have a web form .aspx, then at the top, okay, at the top of your um, web form, you need to add in this page directive. This is a page directive. You need to add in this attribute, meaning we are telling our browser that, okay, this is my web form, but I'm basing my layout by using the master page. So if my master page is a.master, so for the master page file attribute, we set it to be equivalent to a.master. So this is very important. Another thing is when you design the layout, okay, design the layout to be used by all the pages, you will add in, okay, where you want to put the header, the menu, the footer, everything, right? You must also designate the content placeholder. Okay, whereby the content placeholder will be the content of your web forms. All right, so you must have this content placeholder. No need to worry about this. You will learn this uh, when you do the practical tomorrow. Okay, so from here we can easily see the two advantages of having a master page. It's very easy to create, very easy to maintain. Why is it easy to create? Because we just apply the same master page to the new content page by adding in this attribute, the master page file attribute at the page header. Okay, so make sure there's no typo lah. Okay, something dot master. So if you create for the practical, we only create one master page. Okay, one master page for all the web pages. And then the next one is if we want to make any changes, there's no need for you to change all your web pages. Say, for example, at the footer of every web pages, you have added the address. Okay, remember in web design and development for your practical exercises, if you have several web pages, in your index page, you have this footer, and then in another page, you just simply copy the footer, paste it in the next page, and then you create another new page, and then you copy again the footer to the next page. It's like very, very troublesome lah. So if there's a typo, initially there's a typo, means you need to go into each of the web pages to change it. But then in ASP.NET, since we can create or add a master page, if we want to do any modification, we just modify a single master page. Okay, and then we can change the appearance of all the pages in your web application. Now, next one, besides master page, we'll be covering sitemap also. Okay, before that, they said this slide, we need to understand if we want our visitor to have very good experience visiting our website or not, using our web application, and then we want to allow them to find what they're looking for easily, conveniently. We must provide them all this. Okay, the orientation information. We don't want our visitor to get lost. Okay, they go to the home page and they are lost. Where to access this? Okay, like first time I visited the TAHUC website, I want to check Sabah. Where can I check Sabah? Can need to go on the campus, right? I need to find my faculty FOCS. Okay, where can I go to that? So basically, if there's a sitemap, then it will be very easy for the visitor. Okay. Besides sitemap, navigation bars as well. Okay, navigation bars. It will show the user how to navigate to the place that they want to go to. Now, in this slide, it explains more about sitemap. Okay, what is the sitemap? Uh, Now, can you all, each one of you, okay, I want you all to give me a URL showing a sitemap for a certain website. Can you all do now? Share the URL of a web page with their sitemap. Okay.
Sitemap is like showing the map.
Sitemap, no, it lists what are the available pages in their particular website. Okay, I'll try to give you an example first. It seems that the design nowadays, sitemap is not that popular, but I remember seeing this previously. Um, I give you example, yeah, like say you have a website, right? This is one of the website. Okay, normally it will be listed down here. Okay, they will list out and then there's a sitemap link. You click on the sitemap and then it will list out all the available categories, okay, main categories and also the subcategories. Meaning, if the users they don't want to like go through each of this menu, okay, they can just go down and then look at the sitemap. Look for the sitemap. But then I went to several websites already. Cannot find sitemap. Let's see if you can find any example. Share the URL in the chat box. Chat box. Oh, jumpa sudah. Okay, thanks. Let me open that. Noel jumpa. Okay, let me find. Yeah, that's a template, Noel. But I want to see uh, an actual website. Yes. Okay, let me check the Farah. Oh, maybe this one correct. Oh yeah. Very good. Thank you. Okay, thank you. All right. So, let me see. Okay, I think from here it should be listed down there, right? Apple. Oh, very nice. Ada purple color lagi. How much is this? Purple color, nice. Wow, I'm shopping at the moment. Mana sudah tu sitemap? Uh, uh, Fairer? Oh, yeah, I saw it already. Sini. Down here, sitemap. This is what we're talking about. So when you click sitemap, and it will show this is the categories, main categories, and under the main categories, we see all these subcategories. Very nice. I guess Apple they don't want their visitor to get lost, so they prepare the sitemap for us. Okay, excellent. Let me see. Mm, is 30th. So I'm updating my slide with example. Baru nice. Thank you, Farah. So next is siapa lagi? Sharp, Embeng. Betul kan? Embeng. Embeng mana dia punya sitemap? Scroll down. Adakah sitemap dia bilang? Oh, why? Is there any advertisement? Oh, okay. Let me close this one first. Yours wrong already. Tiada kah di bawah? Ya, macam tiada. Tak ada. Tapi here, I think this is a sitemap. Yeah, I think this is a sitemap because it shows everything. But normally it will be put on the sitemap. I guess Mbank they don't want the give additional step for the user. Click on sitemap and then baru jumpa all this. But then I guess this is just let me see, navigation. Okay, click here and then bring the user to this particular page. Okay. I check Ivan punya. Mana tahu betul kan? Let me check one by one. Adakah? Di bawah sekali. This is just info. Ya, tiada sitemap. Adakah? Tak ada. Ya, betul, tak ada. Okay, let me close this. Think. Okay, Daniel. Ada Daniel. Daniel, your mic are not working, Daniel? Let me see, sitemap. Yeah, nowadays this always being displayed for us, right? Oh yeah, ada Daniel, ada sitemap. Oh, I guess all this phone manufacturer, yeah. I guess Samsung. Oh, ada Apple, ada Samsung, Samsung. Okay, these are the main categories, and then these are the subcategories. Okay, ada TV, AV, home appliances, ada a very comprehensive sitemap. Okay, I will copy this also as my example. Thank you. Oh, Apple, Samsung tidak mau kalah kan? Okay, let's see. Hopefully the rest can find example too. Okay, Daniel. Okay. Oh, Russell jumpa. Utaten? Apa utaten? Japanese. uh, which part yang dia bilang sitemap, Russell? Is it mentioned in English somewhere down here? Oh, this is the sitemap. Yeah. Is there any translation? Kah? Is this like a shopping like Lazada, Russell? Yeah, since this one shows a sitemap. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, correct. Tayusi adakah? Oh, lirik. Your bookmark, lirik. Japanese song. Sitemap. Sitemap. Yeah, sitemap. Okay, sitemap. Oh, sounds similar like a Korean. Oh, Huawei. Was I guess yang phone punya memang ada, oh. Right? They don't want their precious visitor to get lost. Oh yeah, ini sitemap dia. Excellent. Very simple sitemap that are all clickable. I want to get a new laptop. Oh, now I'm greedy. Okay, I'll copy this also. Thank you. This is in fact impromptu question. Okay, I'm glad that. Oh, Huawei sitemap. Impromptu question. Kalau Tayusi, mari kita cek Tayusi. Adakah? Dia bilang sitemap. Down here. Sitemap. Ini just a list of link lah. Macam yang the rest, kan? If it's really a sitemap, then it is accessible through the link sitemap. Unless ada sitemap, sini tak ada. Ya, tak ada. Faculty of Computing and IT. Oh, now since I'm in a TAUC mode, or Lim, and then you're my mentee. Your name is still in my list, Lim. So I guess I need to remind you all, okay, whether you're my mentee or not. Now it's week 2. Please check your intranet for your up to date soft skill points. Okay, I believe last semester Miss Surayani organized a webinar, right, by Mr. Bob Jalius. See whether you get the soft skill for that. Otherwise, then get the representative to alert Mr. Harold. Okay, I believe this one ada soft skill point bahkan Noel, the software development by Mr. Bob Jalius. Ada?
Yeah.
Please check your intranet if it's updated. If it's not updated, Uh,
Yeah, get ready.
oh, really? Oh, then that's
Right.
good. Uh, uh, uh. So for Lim, if you haven't completed your soft skill point, you can continue. I think they carry forward from diploma to degree lah. Okay. Mm-mm. Let me close this. Okay, this is good. So you can see that this is sitemap, Huawei sitemap. I type sitemap kan, Ivan, and then I get the result like what Noel share first time. Okay, the PNG template. Okay, let me close this. Close. Okay, and these are very good example of sitemap lah. Okay, thank you so much. Nice. I want the purple purple font. Okay, let me go back to the slide. How many more slides? Oh, we are finishing already. Okay, good. Uh, okay, I present my screen. Okay, I'll continue. So you can see from our examples by viewing all the examples just now, we already know that a sitemap is what? An overview of the pages within a website. So it gives us a list of pages, the website accessible to the users or perhaps the web crawlers, okay, especially when search they want their page to appear in the search engine result. So they also allow these web crawlers to like, oh yeah, if the website has a sitemap, then the web crawlers can easily see what are the available pages. That's cool. And then notice also that in the sitemap, it appears as a link, right? So look at bullet number 3, allows visitors to quickly jump to any section of a website. Okay, and then yeah, I agree with the last bullet as well. We can see a good overall picture how the site is organized. So it shows everything, all the information, all the resources available in that particular website. Okay. Designing a sitemap, it can be organized in a variety of ways if you look at the examples that we have just now. But then typically, it can be organized in hierarchical fashion, meaning arranged by topics. And from the examples that we have just now from Samsung, Huawei, and also Apple, it gives us the major categories and also subcategories. Okay, now let's see how we can create sitemap using ASP.NET Framework. Um, all the source of data for our menu, our navigation controls will be stored in this particular file. This is the default sitemap file name. So you don't simply go and change this, okay? When you add new, all right, this will be the default name. It is simply a XML file, okay, a XML file containing the source of data for our menu and navigation control. I think I want to show you this. Okay, one moment. Back to my Microsoft Visual Studio. So I'm still referring to my practical one. Let me try to add new item. Okay, if I add new item, for master page, we just select, normally for our web form, we select web form, right? And then we have the .aspx file. For master page, make sure you are under Visual C#, there's a web. Okay, down here, yeah, this is the one, the master page, web forms master page. You just click on this, click add. Or for the master, we can do a rename. Like by default, it will be site1.master. Notice that the extension is .master. So here is where you can drag and drop, design the layout. So you can design, okay, here I want the header, down here is the footer, my content placeholder right in the middle, and then I want my navigation to be here, my menu. So you can design, use a drag and drop. Okay, so that is your master page. Now, how about the sitemap? Sitemap, same thing. You go to add and then new item. There's a file called sitemap. Okay, select sitemap. And notice the name here, web.sitemap. Okay, when you click on it, okay, so it is ready for you already. It must have a sitemap, open and close, right? And then this is your parent node, okay, open and close. And this is the child for this particular parent node. In fact, you can have nested nodes under your parent node here. If you see that this is using the same tag, right? But then this is a one-sided tag, so we already know that this is a child node, meaning under this parent node, we have two options or items under it. And also notice that the three attributes that we can type in, which is the URL, the title, and description. This is ready for us. Okay, let me see. This is the site master just now. If you click on the source, let's see. This one shows that it is a master page. And then notice that we have the content placeholder. All right, so inside this, you can add in whatever you want to add in. You can add like that one would be under navigation. This is under standard toolbox. Under navigation, perhaps you want a tree view, or you want a sitemap path, or you want a menu. All right, so you can drag and drop here so that every page has a menu, the same menu at the same location. And then just now I mentioned I want my content to be right in the middle. So make sure you have this at least one content placeholder. Okay, and then let me see. For the web form, say I want to apply this, then this is the page directive, right? So I just need to add attribute. What was the attribute already? Master page file, and then you set it to your master page. So if your master page is site1.master, then you make sure that you have master page file here. And then if, say for example, you want whatever content in the web form to be displayed here, so you have this content placeholder one, right? So what you need to do is you need to remove all these. You don't need this anymore because you are applying your master page. You don't need this anymore. And then we are assuming that our label, our text box button will be in the content placeholder. I prepared the demo video for this. Okay, so you will do this tomorrow. Hopefully by showing this now, it is much more easier for you to understand the lecture. Now let me get back to my slide. Okay, so you already seen that when we add a sitemap, this is the default sitemap file, and it is an XML file, right? And then also notice that for a master page, extension is .master. You can rename your master page accordingly lah. Now, navigation controls. Just now I've shown you, we see tree view, we see menu, we also see sitemap path available in Microsoft Visual Studio just now. So this is the example. Tree view will look like this. So for example, you want a tree view for each of your pages. So you can drag the tree view, drop it into your master page. Menu is like this. Okay, this is a menu. The one that I believe can be a popular question, okay, assessment question, test or final online assessment. I think it would be this one, the sitemap path, also known as breadcrumbs. Okay, map path will be displayed something like this. It will show us where are we now. Okay, definitely this will be the first level. Okay, this is the second level, the third level, and then this is the child. Okay, the child means it's site map not with a forward slash, the one-sided tag. Okay, it can go up to third level, right? Okay, let's see one example. Now, for this particular example, similar to what we saw in the Visual Studio just now, notice that you have the sitemap open and close. Okay, the one in red color, this shows your main node, means the parent node lah, first level. Okay, you open and you close. So home would be the first level, and we specify the URL. Okay, and then under home we have, let me see, another node. So this one, services, will become the second level. All right, so under home we have the second level, which is services. And then within this, the one in purple, yeah, sitemap node open and close. Notice that it only have title. There's no URL. Means we won't be able to click this title as services. Okay, under services we see two more. These two more, it ends with a forward slash. Okay, a one-sided tag, sitemap node. So under services we have training and support. So we call this as child node already. Yang paling last. Okay. So notice if it's the last one, the child node, it should be a one-sided tag, the forward slash. I hope this one is clear. Now, I mentioned about the three attributes just now, the title, URL, and description. There's a description for the support where it is stated as online support. Let's see the explanation for these three main attributes. The first one, title, is what will be displayed on our page. Description, it's something like a tooltip that will appear. So in our previous slide, I guess only the second child node will have online support displayed as tooltip lah. Okay, and then the URL. Take note on the URL. This one will point to the page or other resource. Normally, if you want your user or visitor to click on it, then you will add in the URL. Okay, so it will be a hyperlink. So let's look here. Home can be clicked, correct? Services, no. And then the two child node, yeah, the training can be clicked, and then support can also be clicked. Right. So what's the output of the sitemap just now? What do you think? Mm, yeah, Noel. How about, oh, I think I want to open a collab edit. Collab edit. Long time I didn't use collab edit. Oh, Celine found one more sitemap. All the phone manufacturer, they have sitemap. Yeah, another good one. Thank you, Celine. Okay, very good. So I will add this in my example also. Excellent. That's great. Just that you are paying attention. Okay. Just now, output. Let me click here. Okay. I'll copy this one. My name MJJ. Okay. How do you think it will be like? Um, I'll try. I don't have answer for this. I, in fact, I asked for my uh, CC, and then she said, "Oh, I also get without any answer." So let me know if you all agree. So the first one is home, and then after home, where we have services, right? Okay, and then after services, we have the first child note is training, and then support. Okay, so the parent note, and then the second level, and then this is the child. Can we do underline kat sini? Macam tak boleh kan? Ya, tak boleh underline. So I believe home can be click, training can be click, support can be click, services cannot be click because there's no URL. If everyone agree, then let's go to the next one. Okay, this is a question. Write the code for a website map for the following structure. So we need a home. This is our parent node. Second level, these are the child. Okay. Since I have since I have my sitemap here, how about I copy this one out and then put in the column edit here. Let's see. What happened? What happened? Okay. Who would like to try? Wong perhaps or Russell? Noel, siapa mau try? The first one here, title should be home lah, right? Is it home? Let's see. Yeah, home dulu. And then the URL is default.aspx. Oh, XML. Kalau change to XML, boleh underline ke tu rasa? Oh ya, ours ada. What else do we have here? I guess we need to find those with good for ASP.NET. Never mind. Who would like to try? Why is it like this? Is someone accessing this? Okay, now the time is 10:53. Perhaps I'll start with the first one. The parent node should be home. Okay, and then the description, there's no description. So we'll remove description, but then there's a URL. URL is default.aspx. Okay, and then yeah, please continue. And then there's oh, do we have support? Tak ada support. And then the second level we have product. So what I will do a copy. Okay. Why I have this double everything in double already? Okay, so this one should be for products, and then this one should be for services. This one should be for services. Mm. And then products, is there any URL? Tak ada. I delete that. Services, no URL. So I delete that. Okay. So left with the child node. Can someone do healthcare? Another one do sports. Okay, we are referring to this two child under products. And then another two child contact us under services, redemption under services. Okay. First come, first serve. For the services child node, you need to add in the tooltip. So you need to add in description. Yeah, seven, excluding me, 6 students are inside in the collab edit. Okay, under products, we have healthcare.aspx, title, healthcare. Description tak ada, so can remove the description lah. Okay, and then next is sports, sports.aspx, title ialah sport lah, description tak ada, delete dia. Services, URL contact.aspx, title contact us, and then this no, contact your nearest store. Siapa itu malas type. Okay, redemption URL is redemption.aspx, title is support, description is gift redemption. Please add in the description. So we have sitemap open and close. And then under home, we have the second level, product and services. So sitemap open, close, and then we have the child under products. Macam okay sudah. Oh, where's the description? You all contact us. Add in the description for contact us. Contact your nearest store. And then for redemption, add in the description. Gift redemption. Okay, sambung. Excellent. Contact your nearest store and then redemption, gift redemption. Pandai-pandai saja. Okay, so basically this is the example. Oh, okay, correct. It's 2 minutes left. Okay, let me continue with the slide. Okay, since this can be high possibility for your FOI question, make sure you understand this. Okay, identify 2 different errors. Satu kali tengok I know already. You look at the child node. What's wrong with the child node?
The slash.
Yes, it should be a one-sided tag. Okay, we need to have the forward slash. Can you find the parent node? Is there any parent node here?
No.
Tiada kan? So I guess these are the 2 different errors. Number 1, the main node is missing, and number 2, the child node, the child nodes are missing. What do you call that? Forward slash. Okay. Let's see. Oh, we're done already. So next week we will go into event-driven programming. So that's it for today. End of chapter 2. All right. Yeah, there's no question in the Q&A. So I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye bye.
Okay, miss.
Okay, thank
Thank
you, miss.
you.
Welcome. Bye bye.